So first requirement is these two qualifications according to Patanjali. What is that? Purushartha Shunyanam, all the Purushartha should become zero, and one should give up all the, one should one should transcend the three modes of material nature. Gunanam Pratiprasavaha. And then Swarupa Pratishtha, when one becomes situated in one's Swarupa, one's original constitution as a spirit soul, then that position is called Kaivalyam. Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtava Chiti Shaktiriti. And that Kaivalya, he concludes, Patanjali concludes, is to achieve Chiti Shakti, spiritual power. Actually, Patanjali, unfortunately, even though he accepts that the supreme absolute truth is a person, his conclusion is that the goal of life is to merge into that supreme person, to become part of the Chit Shakti of the Supreme Lord, to merge into the Supreme Lord himself. Even after climbing to the, almost reaching the topmost position, even after realizing the Paramatma, an Ashtanga yogi thinks that I have to merge into the body of the Supreme Lord. This is a very unfortunate situation. Why is it unfortunate? After all, it is Chit Shakti, it is spiritual energy, and if one situates in that spiritual energy, what is wrong? You are, after all, transcending the three modes of material nature. You are becoming free from the influence of Kala. You are becoming free from material, miserable karma. So what's wrong in that? That is stated in the Brahmanda Purana. The Brahmanda Purana states that Siddha lokastu tamasaha pare yatra vasantihi siddha brahma sukhe magna daityasya harina hataha. The Brahmanda Purana is stating that the brahma sukhe magna, the siddhas, the both the jnanis as well as the the yogis who have become siddhas, they have perfected their yoga process, whether it is Ashtanga yoga or Jnana yoga. They are Brahma Sukhe Magna, they are immersed in spiritual pleasure, they are immersed in Brahmananda. Such people, what happens to them? When they think they merge into Brahman or they merge into the transcendental body of Paramatma, what actually happens is Siddha Loka, they achieve Siddha Loka, they go to Siddha Loka. They actually do not destroy their individuality. Their existence is not completely nullified, but they get elevated to Siddha Loka. This Siddha Loka is not the Siddha Loka within this material world. Within this material world also there is a Siddha Loka, where there are many people having the 8 Ashta Siddhis, what Ashtanga yogis with great difficulty they achieve in this material earthly planet. There is another planet called Siddha Loka, where by birth everybody has the Ashta Siddhis. So we are not referring to that Siddha Loka. This Siddha Lokastu Tamasaha Pare, this Siddha Loka is beyond the tamas, the ignorance of this material world. It is beyond the Viraja river. This Siddha Loka is nothing but the Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. The Brahman effulgence is called Siddha Loka. According to the Brahmanda Purana, Siddha Lokastu Tamasaha Pare. If we are referring to the Siddha Loka of this material world, it is within the influence of the tamas of this material world. But no, this Siddha Loka is Tamasaha Pare. It is beyond the tamas, it is beyond the Viraja river. And beyond the Viraja river is only the spiritual world. So this Siddha Loka is referring to the Brahman effulgence. Siddha Lokastu Tamasaha Pare Yatra Vasantihi. And that Siddha Loka, that Brahma Jyoti is inhabited by whom? Siddha. Siddha Brahma Sukhe Magna. Yatra Vasantihi Siddha Brahma Sukhe Magna. Those yogis who have become perfected, who are immersed in Brahmananda, those people achieve this Siddha Loka. So again, what is the problem? Okay, either you merge into Brahman or you achieve the Brahman effulgence and you are a resident of Siddhaloka. What's wrong? You still have crossed Tamasaha Pare. You have crossed the Viraja river. Now, for that the Brahmanda is saying, what is the Brahmanda Purana saying? The Brahmanda Purana is saying, Daityasa Harina Hataha. When one goes there, it is like saying, suppose there is some very intellectual person in this world, and he is doing a lot of research about how this world works and the government its activities and all that. And after studying everything, like somebody had sent a calculation of how taxation goes on in this country. When you earn money, you have to pay a certain tax to the government. Suppose you are in the tax paying bracket. There are slabs of income tax that you have to pay, starting from 10%, 20%, 30%, etc. So assume that your average you have to pay an income tax of 20%. So that means if you earn 100 rupees, you'll be left with only 80 rupees. Now with that 80 rupees, you go and you want to buy something. On that object, there is an 18% GST. So you can buy only 82% of your 80 rupees. That means you can buy something worth about, how much does it come? About 60 rupees or something like that you can buy. That means if you earn 100 rupees, almost 48 rupees of yours goes in tax only. So you are working to make the government rich. Almost 50% of your wealth is going into the government only. So somebody has made a calculation like this. So let us say there is an intelligent man who does all sorts of calculations and sees how, so much property tax, income tax, GST, electricity bill, this bill, that bill, I have to pay so much, I have to pay, all these things. Why should I earn money and struggle like this? Is there some place I can go where I don't have to pay any tax, all my necessities are met and I'm comfortable? The government said, yes, there is such a place. You don't have to pay any tax, no income tax, no GST. All your food is taken care, accommodation is taken care. Not only that, you want to do some simple activity, you can do that also. Some gardening, or you want to sit in the library, all those things also you can do. Oh, such a place is there? Yes. All people like you can go there. And not only you will be there, there will be some other people also who will be there, who will be accompanying you. Who are those people? There are some criminals who have done somebody has raped somebody has murdered somebody. They will all be, you will be along with them. They will also be there along with you. What is that place? That place is the jail. You go to the jail, you don't have to pay tax. Your accommodation is taken care. Every day food is served, you don't have to struggle. And in the jail you will be given some menial job. You do some gardening, or you do some carpentry, or you take care of the library, and you will be paid for it also. And you will not be asked to pay income tax. Wonderful place. But is that some place where any of us would like to go? We will say, better I pay tax and be here rather than go to the jail. In a similar fashion, Brahmanda Purana is saying, when you go to Siddhaloka, when these Siddhas, when these yogis, Jnana yogis and Ashtanga yogis, who have become Siddha, who have become perfected, and they go to the Brahman effulgence, they are not the only people there. The Siddha yogis are not the only people there. They are accompanied by one more set of people. Daityasya Harina Hataha. They are accompanied by Daityas, Asuras, Harina Hataha, who have been killed by Hari. Means all criminals also will be there along with you. Those who are criminals in the eyes of Vishnu, they are all put along with the Yoga Siddhas. Who would like to go to such a place? What is the use of going to such a place? If Asuras can go there, why should I do so much Yoga Tapasya and go to that same place? Doesn't make sense. Therefore, a Bhakti Yogi is never interested in Kaivalya, in merging into that Brahman effulgence, nor is he interested in the Ashtanga Yoga, because ultimately the product of Ashtanga Yoga is what? You will go and end up where the Asuras are there.